Hey, so I wanted to ask you, because you've seen like there's a lot of major ministries that have started really well and had like a lot of success, but then you've seen kind of key leaders go, or like moral failure with the pastors and stuff, and it can be quite discouraging to kind of see that. So what's like the right, where did they go wrong, and then like what's the thing to look at for the right ministries, and
Wow, loaded question. I think, where did they go wrong? We can't judge every ministry. We don't always know the inside workings of things. I think so we got to be careful, not to make assumptions. But I think, the Bible's very clear of the importance of covering.
Yeah.
In ministry, we're in spiritual warfare. There's been people that, called us up and said, they're not part of our church, but they know that we do deliverance. They say, well, I feel called to a deliverance ministry.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, well, have you spoken to your pastor? Well, we don't really believe in deliverance. Well, how can you be involved in a ministry when you don't even have a covering and the blessing of leadership? So I think, it's understanding spiritual authority, and understanding covering that, there's protection in the church, and Jesus put the fivefold ministry there. There's a level of anointing and grace to cover and protect. Some are called, some are sent, some just got up and went. And, I learned that in Bible school, where people just get up and they're not really aligned apostolically. They're not aligned with covering, out wanting to do good. And what happens? They get knocked out,
That's sad.
So there's spiritual pressure, especially when you're dealing in the ministry. We're taking ground for God. You need to have proper covering and people who can cover your soul, people that you can be accountable to, because just because you have this treasure in an earthen vessel or ministry or gifting doesn't mean you're not going to still struggle. I mean, we all struggle. Pride of life is a huge one. People fell because of pride. The lust of the flesh, people didn't deal with girls and guys correctly, or both. And then the deceitfulness of riches, where in the midst of success, a lot of people started out not with a lot, or maybe they started out poor and they never really knew how to manage money. And when they start managing money, what happens? They start touching the gold. So I think, those things happen, but you need people that can help you maneuver that, people that you're accountable to. Not just covering, but not just surrounding yourself with yes men.
Yeah, that's good.
People hire people and get people around them who just are so enamored with their gift and their anointing, and just wanting to please them all the time, but they don't tell them the truth.
Yeah.
And that can be detrimental. The Bible talks about the prophet came and spoke to the king, and it says the one on whom the king leaned spoke out, but he was out of order, and because of that, God judged the king.
Dang.
And so we need to have order in things and make sure that there. You look at Levi, Eli, he was allowing sin, and the sons were doing sexual immorality. They were taking up the offerings that belonged to God, and what happened? He lost the ministry. And it went from the house of Levi to Samuel because of that. So I think covering's important, and then having the right people over you, people that we can that are concerned about our soul and not our ministry, how great we are, as well as people around us that will tell us the truth, in that. So I think, those are kind of the main reasons, because ministry can be difficult. It's a thankless job many times. There's pressures that are there. We need still to have pastors and people that are looking out for our souls.